Hello and welcome to Mortgage Watch for Wednesday, June 2nd. I'm Ilan Awerbuch from the Unitrust Companies in San Diego. Well, underwater homeowners are starting to bail out on their home loans in ever greater numbers. Recent studies indicate that 25 to 30% of all affected homeowners are discontinuing their mortgage payments. Perhaps it's a move to initiate a loan modification, but it may also indicate a growing dissatisfaction with the housing market and how far underwater their houses may be. The deeper trend line says that a lot of these people feel that their housing prices have now bounced back enough and that they feel that there may not be enough continued rise over the next several years. Some of these homeowners are $50, $100, or $200,000 underwater, and that's a difficult place to be. It also indicates a change in our society. Once upon a time, bankruptcies, foreclosures were considered the greatest stigma that a person had somehow lacked moral judgment or ability. But with the current crisis of the past 3 years, I think people have realized that a lot of people are stuck in situations not of their own doing. People have been laid off, people have been put into loans that were not appropriate for them, people have bought homes who really shouldn't have bought homes, and now it's all coming home to roost. Interestingly enough, this has been going on in the commercial market for many, many years. Commercial property owners have been handing back property and stopping payments when they see their property underwater, and it's been considered perfectly appropriate. In the commercial arena, bankruptcies have been considered perfectly appropriate for a long time. The government just put General Motors through a bankruptcy where they shed a lot of their debt and came back a leaner, better company. The same is true of Chrysler, and in previous years, many other companies have been taken through bankruptcies and come out. But on a personal level, it seemed like there was another standard that was being applied to people. Some of the largest companies have also given back commercial property. This includes the recent turning back of keys for Stuyvesant Town, which is a giant housing project in Manhattan, New York City, where BlackRock and another owner gave back the keys. This was a $4 billion project. Originally, it was a $5 billion project, and the owners had $1 billion of equity. But as the equity disappeared and they discovered that their loan was now exactly what the property was worth, they decided, why make payments? We'll just hand it back. And the lenders just took the property back. So this is what I think is spreading in the residential arena. And the internet is responsible for a lot of information getting out. People are hearing about these things, and they're hearing about other homeowners who have taken this on also. That is, either turning in their property or just stopping to make payments and see where it goes. One of the reasons this is happening also is for the absurd way that mortgage servicers are dealing with borrowers who are having trouble. I know of borrowers who see trouble coming, they've either lost their jobs or they're having difficulty and they contact their servicer. They don't get anybody's attention and they get no one to talk to. And they may be told, come back when you're delinquent at least 60 days. We don't really want to talk to you until then. Of course, this is sending the wrong message, but this is the message people are getting. So at some point, they stop making payments, and when they're 60 days delinquent, the servicer starts calling them 8 times a day to see about making a house payment. Then they can't do enough to get in touch with them. But unfortunately, in many cases, servicers have basically tricked homeowners into making 1 or 2 payments, promising them a loan modification, and then continuing with a foreclosure. I know of homeowners who have been foreclosed out with less than 24 hours notice because their whole procedure was at the last minute when the servicer initially agreed to postpone the foreclosure sale. They made a payment or 2 and the servicer continued with the foreclosure. Very, very poor customer service levels. I have called for this for about a year or a year and a half, and that is a comprehensive plan to deal with the weakness in our housing and job markets and the absurdity of the mortgage world. I just explained to you what's going on in the servicing arena with people who are having trouble. This is not the right way to deal with the situation. The government comes up with plans, gives them very catchy acronym names like HAMP or HARA or HAMRA, and in the end they accomplish very little. They're going to serve millions of people and they end up helping maybe tens of thousands. That is not going to solve our problem. In the 1930s, the Roosevelt administration created a home mortgage corporation that took over basically all the mortgages in the United States, 1 out of 3 mortgages was in foreclosure at that time. 12 years later, the Home Mortgage Corporation was wound down with a net profit. They did foreclose on some people, but they also helped some people weather the storm. This kind of hit or miss approach that we have right now is not going to solve our problem. I'd like to see us bounce out of this housing weakness in a year or two. But with the government programs and the way that services are addressing this, I think we're going to be in this situation for 5 to 10 years. And it's a very dire prediction, but I don't see the turnaround coming that I think we need in understanding just how deep and widespread the problem is. As more and more homeowners catch on to this and decide what's the point of making a mortgage payment, I think the problem is going to grow. Sooner rather than later is the right time for the government to deal with all of these weaknesses and get a program going that addresses the entire mortgage world, not just these short little programs that don't help enough people. I hope Congress will listen to us. If you have the inclination, please contact your elected officials and have the discussion with them or someone in their office. With that, I wish you a good week. This is Ilan Awerbuch, and this is Mortgage Watch for June 2nd. Thank you.